Yeah, so my name is Javier Cruz. I've been a technologist for Volvox Labs for about a decade now. My background is in music, but I came into technology and using TouchDesigner mainly through creating apps in Maximus P to drive visuals from stuff I was doing in Ableton. So I'm going to quickly, I won't take too much time talking about the network that I'm going to present. Or here we go. I won't take up too much time talking about this pipeline. I think it's a pretty well-known pipeline, so I'll just kind of cover a couple key points of what I'm doing, um, and then ask you to all just metal like death wall all the chairs, and then we can I'll start dropping some music, and you can grab a beer, and we'll have some fun with the music that I prepared and the visuals. But so who here has used MIDI in a performance? Yeah, MIDI, tried and true. Um, so what I'm doing here is keeping it dead simple. I had prepared this set for a previous touch-in. The last one we had at Volvox Labs. I've made some modifications to it, play with some things. But like I said, my background's in music. I started by creating compositions and then having visuals, and then kind of got out of that. At Volvox, we're a new media art studio. We focus on all kinds of stuff from kinetic sculptures to a lot of interactivity. We have a full fab shop, and really are working mostly on bringing all of those skill sets together. I really wanted to say at the intersection of art and technology there. I refrained and then said it anyways. But no, we work on one of the things we pride ourselves on is having all those skill sets under one roof. We're based out of Greenpoint and bringing them together. So there's a couple folks from Volvox here as well. Shout out to Ben and Matt back there. But this was an attempt for the last meetup to kind of get back to my roots. I've along with being a technologist for Volvox Labs, driving trucks, helping put together sculptures, talking to clients. I also have composed music for the company for years. Um, and this was an attempt to get back to my roots of like just writing some music that was going to be fun and new, and then creating some visuals for it that were audio reactive in some way that really kind of were responsive to the music. So I did that over the course of 4 nights. I spent 2 nights writing the music and then 2 nights creating the visuals. So, we've seen a lot of really beautiful things tonight. Lake really kicked it off with some gorgeous things. Uh, there's some fun stuff in here, but I really just reached into the bag of old tricks. And to quote Matt Ross, I kept it simple, stupid. Um, keep it simple, stupid is something we say often because we have the tendency to overcomplicate things. Um, so this is a very simple approach, in my opinion, to creating an audio reactive piece. So the key components here are I'm running Ableton, which is I had written out a whole project that had something I don't know how many channels of audio where I had composed everything. Didn't want to run that. Also, this is like an M1 Mac, so it's a little bit older, but I don't want to like have all of this overhead of like VSTs and things running in Ableton. So I bounced all that audio and left in the stuff that talks to these boxes here that have been blocking the projector all evening. I loved how we talked about closing this thing earlier, and then we did. It's my bad. Um, so in here, I've got modular synthesizers, all kinds of fun bleeps and bloops, but there's MIDI input over here. So touch is, so I bounced those stems in Ableton and then left in some of the MIDI stuff that is communicating with my modular setup so that I can augment that audio as the audio is played back out of Ableton. But I love audio analysis. I think it's a very cool tool and it's really effective in TouchDesigner. I'm a big fan of like really discrete data hitting TouchDesigner. So I a lot of times will compose something and then just write a single MIDI channel that controls everything. Um, it's an easy workflow for me. So if we go down here and take a quick look at Ableton, uh, I've just grabbed all the MIDI information in here. So this gives me a lot of great cues and things in Touch. I like to like write out all my rhythmic stuff, anything that's like big beats and things. And then let me fold this. There you go. And then up top, I have scene cues. So I usually work from the bottom up on all the like instrumental things, rhythmic things, and then at the top I have scene cues. And that's really what drives this. I mean, again, I'm keeping it super simple. This isn't like a big super improvised piece. Like I'm gonna be doing live stuff on my synths, but I've done whole sets with this thing and it's cool. But then after like 15 minutes, it's a lot of bleeps and bloops, and I have like a pretty nice sequencer. But I really like more composed things, so that's why I'm composing everything here, and then really drawing out all this MIDI information that then gets sent over to TouchDesigner. So to do that, I'm just leveraging the IAC bus on my Mac. If we were on a PC, it'd be is it MIDI loop? Okay, somebody's got to know. I heard it. Yeah. Or loop MIDI. Sorry, MIDI loop. Loop MIDI. So that we can pass that MIDI data internally on the machine from one piece of software to the other. So that's all coming in. For this performance, I wanted to give myself more things to fiddle with, so I stole my wife's iPad. She's not using it. And I'm running TouchOSC. Unfortunately, you can't see this up on the screen, but let me see if I can do this. Because I think there is a bit of fun here. So I'm running just simple TouchOSC. If you're not familiar with TouchOSC, it's like it's $14 now. It used to be like $5. Oh yeah, it's second gen. You're right. Which is actually really dope. This is the first time I used the second one. Well, my iPad's be very dirty too. But what's nice about this and what I found exciting for this performance is that I now have on this. I'm also using MIDI on this device to trigger an effects rack in Ableton. But then on my second page, which I spent minimal time preparing for this. So there's only a couple parameters, but I was trying to give myself more stuff to play with and interact with for the performance. So there's also MIDI information coming from the from the iPad running TouchOSC to control some visual stuff in TouchDesigner. So there's lots of data bouncing around between the iPad and Ableton. And then in Touch, if you have never made like a performance system, this is something at Volvox that we've done for years. And again, I made this over the course of a couple nights and just like really kept it so simple. Each one of these containers is running a scene. I have my main MIDI input coming, so this is TouchDesigner. And then I actually did do some audio processing from here where I'm bringing in the audio signal directly from the modular to play with on one of the scenes. I'd like to do that more, but I just, I'm rediscovering this pipeline. And then there is some selected MIDI channels. So these are the scene selectors, and those are just telling my top network, which scene to grab from each one of these containers. I'm doing some random like effects by switching over here and then going out. So like I said, keep it simple, stupid, very simple network, very easy implementation, and hopefully we all party to it a little bit. Any questions? Yes. No, the TouchOSC is rad. It speaks MIDI and OSC, so you could talk to all kinds of stuff with it. And there's a really nice editor in it, so like built in, whereas I think with the first gen you actually had to download the editor onto your machine and like edit there and then sync it to your iPad. This is really cool because you can just edit it here on one device. Um, Very nice. And there's way more options. I actually was kind of got confused for a second and was trying to figure it out. Yeah. Hopefully there's no questions because it's very simple. But if there are, now's the time to ask them before I start dropping the bass. Oh. No? No questions? All right, cool. So death wall the chairs. Grab a beer, then we'll death wall the chairs, and I'll start dropping some beats.
Got to walk